Hey, it's Cosmo with Solutions 8, and in this video, we are going to beat up on Facebook a little bit, which may or may not be my favorite thing to do. Facebook apparently has had a glitch, and I didn't find out about this. Interestingly, I think that alone is interesting. This was shared with me by a friend who sent me the article and said, whoa, what's going on here? And I think it's interesting that it's actually as quiet as it is, given how substantial this error is. So short version of long story, the too long didn't read version is Facebook's projection tool that lets advertisers know how successful a campaign may be appeared to have a glitch in it that led advertisers to believe that campaigns had more viability than they potentially did, which of course led to potential overspending in a perfect storm scenario, because this overspending happened in the COVID era of online digital advertising, where people are basically hemorrhaging money trying to make up lost income from elsewhere. And so Facebook basically said, hey, if you run this campaign in this way, we think that you're going to get X, where X was an inflated number. Advertisers made decisions based off of that inflated number to the tune of who knows how much scale, which is maybe the really important linchpin here. And then Facebook, after discovering the error, came clean right away, actually, which is not in Facebook's, historically speaking, is not in their playbook. Facebook has had errors and issues that have cost advertisers a lot of money that they've known about. This has been proven that they've known about for a significant period of time before coming forward and letting us advertisers know. So it might be why I enjoy beating up on them. I'm just going to dive into this article from the Wall Street Journal. I'll include a link to this in the description. But the highlights, there's a glitch in the tool that tells advertisers how effective their ads may be. So that's kind of the crux. It's their Conversion Lift tool. If you're familiar with Facebook, you've used Conversion Lift in the past. And it overestimated campaign results for 12 months. I think it was October to October, they said. Here's what's really interesting, though. Facebook is reimbursing clients. The size of ad credits will be around 0.5% of effective clients' annual budgets around the time of the glitch. I don't know how you'd arrive at that number, but that seems low to me. If you give me estimates and projections around performance, and then I make strategic decisions over the course of a year based off of those projections, 0.5% feels a little slappy in the facey. And this was my favorite part. The company is basing the amount of credits it is issuing to advertisers on an analysis that shows how much the error may have affected their actual investments during the period following the lift study. How on earth, Facebook, how on earth would you know what kind of study, what kind of analysis can you do based off of to determine the decisions that other people would make based off of your faulty data? What a horseshit thing to say and to do. Here's what's really interesting about this too. And I know, I'm a Google Ads guy. I talk mostly about Google Ads. This is mild departure. We run Facebook ads, of course, but it's not our core thing for many, many reasons. What's interesting though, and the reason I think this is applicable, is because we're truly at the mercy of these ad networks and what information they want to tell us. Facebook had a years long issue with their video views that they didn't disclose for a really long time. Google has an issue, I think, with click fraud that they work to try to remediate. If you run any Google ad campaigns, every now and then you'll notice a small credit that's been provided to you, but they haven't done a good enough job, I think, at tackling that particular problem. But the point that I'm getting at is it's a black box. It's a closed ecosystem. We have no idea what's going on inside the ecosystem. There could be rampant price setting. That's actually maybe the biggest fear, to be honest with you, is the fact that Google Ads has things like minimum budgets or minimum bids, for auctions. And so you take into consideration things like this particular issue or error. Take the fact that there would be no way for you to know that this happened if they didn't tell you. And I think that it's worth meditating on the fact that we are at diametrically opposed positioning to advertising networks. It's you versus Google, you versus Facebook. And the only way to come out on the right side of that is to inspect what you expect. You can't trust their numbers. And really what you have to do is, I understand like the projections. Honestly, the fact that Facebook's projections were off doesn't surprise me at all. They say that they were inflated. I think their baseline number would have been inflated. I think Google's projections, can be inflated or grossly deflated to our detriment in many cases. So I don't trust anybody's estimates and projections. I will say though, that you need to make sure that your ad campaigns are making dollars and cents. You have to track conversions. You have to track revenue. You have to determine what your golden ratio is. For every dollar I put into advertising, how many dollars do I get out, if any? If you're not doing that, then you're putting yourself at the mercy of the information that they want to provide you with. And I know more advertisers than not that are doing this improperly. And I mean that. 51% or more of people and advertisers, and I'm talking major organizations too, incidentally. This isn't just small mom and pop, big media buyers. They're not doing enough to track advertising spend back to revenue. And this isn't just about tracking conversions per se, but that's a really big piece of it. But it's about tracking the performance of an advertising channel in order to ensure that proper monetization exists. And if you're not profiting from your digital marketing, then you might as well be running analog marketing. Or let me back that up and say that differently. If you don't know specifically on granular levels how you're profiting from your digital marketing, then you might as well be running analog marketing. So not to say that it's not profitable, just to say that if you don't know, then you're batch and blasting, and you're all the way back to the old school days of radio advertising, where you were just pushing your message out, and sometimes money came in, and as long as the amount that you spent was a penny less than the amount that you made, you were in good shape. And I think the way to mitigate the risk that is very readily apparent here is to always track and reconcile your data. You can't rely on Facebook's data. We know that. We've known that forever. One of the smartest Facebook advertisers on the planet is a gal named Molly Pittman. She was Digital Marketer's Facebook guru, and then she moved on. I think she's the CEO of Ezra Firestone's company now. But I remember in the very beginning, Molly saying, I don't trust Facebook's data at all. I reconcile against Google Analytics. And you have to do the exact same thing for this reason. You have $1 trillion company that, oops, sorry, here's 0.5% of your ad spend back. So it's incumbent upon us to be responsible and make sure that we're not trusting the data that's being given. The information that makes the most sense to track is dollars. I spent this much money. How much money did I make out of this? And if you can't do that, set the goal to allow yourself to do that at some point. Work towards it. It's maybe not an overnight thing for you based off of your business model or the way that you're managing things, but it should be something that you work towards. Anyway, sorry to soapbox and evangelize. I didn't mean to go that far in that direction, but hopefully you found some value in it. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more where this came from, and comment if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.